The garbage disposal was making that grinding sound again when I heard my wife laughing upstairs. Not the laugh she used to give me. This was different. Sultry. The kind of laugh that made my stomach twist into knots at midnight on a Tuesday. "Oh, Trent, you're so bad." Erin's voice drifted down from our bedroom like poison through the vents. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I stood there in my work clothes, wrench in hand, listening to my wife of 16 years giggle like a schoolgirl with her ex-boyfriend. The same Trent who dumped her in college for a sorority president. The same Trent who owned half the BMW dealerships in Edgewood and reminded everyone about it. Maya, my 15-year-old daughter, stormed into the kitchen and slammed her phone on the counter. "Dad, are you seriously just going to stand there while Mom talks to that loser all night?" "Language, Maya." "Seriously? You're worried about my language when Mom's upstairs practically having phone sex with her ex?" Maya's eyes blazed with the kind of righteous anger only teenagers can muster. "Everyone at school knows. Jenny Martinez showed me the screenshots." My hands tightened around the wrench. "What screenshots?" "Mom's been posting stuff on Instagram. Pictures of her and Trent at lunch calling him her old friend. Dad, she's not even trying to hide it anymore." The grinding sound from the disposal seemed to match the grinding in my chest. 16 years of marriage, and my wife was flaunting her emotional affair on social media for our daughter's classmates to see. "Your mother is just what? Just cheating on you in front of the whole town?" Maya's voice cracked. "Dad, when are you going to stop making excuses for her?" Upstairs, Erin's laughter got louder, more intimate. I'd been maintenance supervisor at Edgewood Prep for 12 years. I fixed things. Broken pipes, faulty wiring, damaged lockers. But I couldn't fix whatever was broken between me and my wife. Hell, I wasn't even sure I wanted to anymore. The next morning, I was replacing ceiling tiles in the math wing when my phone buzzed with notifications. Instagram, Facebook, text messages from numbers I didn't recognize. Ray Martinez, my best friend and owner of Downtown Boxing, had sent me a link with 3 words. "Dude, I'm sorry." I clicked it. There was my wife, Erin Patterson, successful attorney at Morrison & Associates, locked in a passionate kiss with Trent Williams outside Chez Laurent, the fanciest restaurant in Edgewood. The photo had been taken the night before, while I was home fixing the garbage disposal and Maya was doing homework. The caption read, "When your lawyer wife trades up from maintenance man to BMW king. Upgrade, Edgewood, drama, living her best life." It had been shared 47 times. My phone kept buzzing. Comments poured in from neighbors, parents of Maya's classmates, even some of my co-workers at the school. Always knew she was too good for him. Poor Maya. So embarrassing. Trent Williams strikes again. That man collects other men's wives like cars. I sat in the empty classroom, surrounded by half-installed ceiling tiles, and felt something cold settle in my chest. Not heartbreak. I'd been expecting this for months. Something else. Something harder. By lunch, the meme had evolved. Someone had photoshopped Erin's face onto a BMW hood ornament with the text, "Mrs. BMW, Queen of Edgewood's upgrade program." Ray found me in the school parking lot during my break, smoking a cigarette I'd bummed from the janitor. "You okay, man?" "Define okay." I took a long drag. My wife's making out with her ex in front of half the town, my daughter's getting teased at school, and I'm apparently the last person in Edgewood to know my marriage is over. Ray leaned against my beat-up Ford pickup. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know. Talk to her, I guess. Try to what? Win her back?" Ray shook his head. "Mike, she's not trying to hide this. She wants you to see it. She wants the whole town to see it." He was right. Erin wasn't stupid. She was a lawyer. She knew how to be discreet when she wanted to be. This was deliberate. Public. Humiliating. That evening, I waited in our living room with a printout of the photo. Erin walked in at 9:30, her lipstick slightly smudged, her hair messed up in a way that told me everything I needed to know. "We need to talk," I said. She looked at the photo in my hands and smiled. Not embarrassed, not apologetic, amused. "Oh, that." She kicked off her heels and poured herself a glass of wine. "People in this town have nothing better to do than gossip. You're making out with another man, Erin, in public. Our daughter's friends are sharing it on social media. Trent and I are old friends. We had dinner. We had a few drinks. Things got a little friendly." She took a sip of wine and studied her manicured nails. "If you don't like it, maybe you should think about why your wife needs to find companionship elsewhere." "Companionship? Is that what we're calling it?" "What would you call it, Mike? I'm married to a maintenance worker who comes home covered in dust and grease, whose idea of a romantic evening is fixing the garbage disposal while I'm on the phone. When's the last time you took me somewhere nicer than Applebee's?" The words hit like physical blows. "I work hard to provide for this family. You work hard to stay exactly where you are. No ambition, no drive. Do you know what Trent did while you were in community college learning to fix toilets? He built a business empire. He owns 7 dealerships across 3 counties. And you think that gives him the right to put his hands on my wife?" Erin set down her wine glass and looked at me with something close to pity. "Mike, honey, you're not listening. I'm not Trent's wife. I'm your wife. And if you hate me texting my ex so much, maybe you should go file for divorce." She said it with a cold smile, like she was daring me. Like she thought I'd never have the spine to actually do it. "Don't worry," I said, standing up. "I will. Pack your things." The smile faltered on her face. "What?" "You heard me. Pack your things and get out of my house." "Mike, you can't be serious. I was just what? Just seeing if I'd finally grow a backbone." I walked to the front door and held it open. "Congratulations. You found it." Erin didn't pack her things that night. Instead, she locked herself in our bedroom and made phone calls until 3 in the morning. I slept on the couch and listened to her voice through the ceiling, sometimes angry, sometimes crying, sometimes that sultry laugh I'd learned to hate. By morning, she was gone. Maya found me drinking coffee in the kitchen, staring at the divorce papers I'd printed from a legal website. "She really left?" Maya sat down across from me, still in her pajamas. "Looks like it." "Good." Maya poured herself a bowl of cereal. I was getting tired of listening to her talk to that creep every night. "Maya, she's still your mother." "Yeah, and you're still my dad. But only one of you has been acting like a parent lately." The kid had a point. For months, Erin had been distracted, distant, more interested in her phone than her family. I'd told myself it was work stress, the pressure of making partner at the law firm. Now, I knew better. I drove Maya to school and headed to Edgewood Prep, where the whispers started the moment I walked through the staff entrance. "Did you see the new photos?" She moved in with him. Already. Poor Mike. Everyone saw this coming except him. I grabbed my tool belt and work orders, determined to keep my head down and do my job. But curiosity got the better of me during my first break. I checked Facebook. Erin had updated her relationship status to "It's complicated" and posted a photo of herself and Trent having breakfast at the country club. The caption read, "Sometimes life gives you second chances with the right person. New beginnings. Grateful heart." The comments were brutal. "What about your husband and daughter?" "Homewrecker and proud of it." "Trent Williams strikes again. How many marriages is that now?" But there were supporters too. "You deserve happiness, girl. Life's too short to settle. Mike Patterson never deserved you anyway." That last comment came from Janet Morrison, Erin's boss at the law firm. I was still staring at my phone when Ray called. "You see the latest?" "Yeah. She's really going for the jugular, isn't she? Posted it right when parents are dropping kids off at school. Ray was right. Erin knew exactly what she was doing. Maximum visibility, maximum humiliation. I need you to do me a favor, I said. Name it. I need to borrow your truck tonight, the black one. Mike, what are you planning? Nothing illegal, just a little message delivery. That night, I drove Ray's truck to Trent's main dealership on Route 9, Williams BMW of Edgewood, where Trent kept his personal car, a pristine black M5 worth more than I made in 2 years. The lot was well lit, but empty. Security cameras covered the main entrances, but there were blind spots. I'd done maintenance work for half the businesses in town. I knew which cameras actually worked and which ones were just for show. I parked 3 blocks away and walked back with a key from my toolkit. Not to break in, just to leave a message. I keyed homewrecker into the driver's side door of Trent's M5, deep enough to reach the metal, not deep enough to be considered felony vandalism. Then I placed a bumper sticker on the windshield. STD tested? Ask your partner. Finally, I left a printed copy of the restaurant photo under the windshield wiper with a note. Everyone in town has seen this. How's business, Trent? I was back home by midnight. Ray's truck returned, my message delivered. The next morning brought chaos. Trent had discovered his car and called the police, but keying a car was misdemeanor vandalism at best, and the security cameras hadn't caught anything useful. The police took a report and moved on. More importantly, Trent had to drive his damaged car to work. Every customer who came to the dealership saw homewrecker scratched into the door. By noon, photos were circulating on social media, with captions like Truth in Advertising and Williams BMW, home of the homewrecker. Erin called me at work, furious. What did you do to Trent's car? I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't play dumb with me, Mike. This has your fingerprints all over it. Prove it. This is harassment. Trent could press charges. For what? Someone expressing their opinion about his character? Last I checked, that was protected speech. There was a long silence. When Erin spoke again, her voice was ice cold. You want to play games? Fine. But remember, I'm a lawyer. I know how to play dirty. She hung up. An hour later, Maya called from school, crying. Dad, you need to come get me. What's wrong? Some kids are saying horrible things about you, about us. They're saying Mom left because you're a loser who can't satisfy a woman. My hands clenched around the phone. Who's saying this? Tyler Williams, Trent's nephew. Of course. Trent was fighting back through his family connections, using kids to hurt my daughter. I left work early and picked up Maya. We drove to Ray's gym, where I'd been boxing off and on for years. Maya sat in the office doing homework while Ray worked the heavy bag with me. She's escalating, Ray said between combinations, using the kid to get to you. I know. I threw a particularly hard right cross, but 2 can play that game. What are you thinking? Erin's got a weakness. She cares more about her reputation than anything else, her image, her status. So maybe it's time everyone in Edgewood learned what kind of person she really is. That evening, I created a fake Facebook account and joined every Edgewood community group I could find. Parent groups, neighborhood watch, local business reviews, even the Edgewood High School alumni page. Then I started sharing. Not lies. I was too smart for that. Just truth. Screenshots of Erin's social media posts, photos of her and Trent together, comments about how she'd abandoned her family for a man with money. I was careful. I never used my real name, never made threats, never said anything that could be traced back to me. Just a concerned citizen sharing information about a local attorney who'd abandoned her family for a wealthy car dealer. The posts spread like wildfire. By the next morning, Edgewood Homewrecker was trending on local social media. Memes appeared faster than Erin could have them taken down. Someone had even created a fake Yelp page for Erin Patterson Home Wrecking Services with reviews like 5 stars for destroying my neighbor's marriage, and quick, efficient family destruction. Aaron called me before 7 a.m. Take it down, all of it. Take what down? You know exactly what I'm talking about. The Facebook posts, the memes, the fake reviews. Aaron, I'm a maintenance worker, remember? I barely know how to use Facebook, let alone create fake accounts and coordinate social media campaigns. This is defamation, Mike. I could sue you. For what? Sharing publicly available information about your affair? Good luck proving damages when you're the one who posted most of it yourself. Another long silence. You're going to regret this, she said finally. Maybe, but you're going to regret it first. She hung up, and I smiled for the first time in weeks. The war had officially begun. The Edgewood Prep Spring fundraiser was always the social event of the season. Parents dressed up, opened their wallets, and pretended to care about the school's mission while gossiping about their neighbors. This year, I was working the event as maintenance support, making sure the sound system worked and the lights stayed on. I should have known Erin would show up. She walked into the gymnasium at 8 p.m. wearing a red dress that probably cost more than my monthly salary, with Trent Williams on her arm like a trophy. They looked like they belonged together, polished, successful, superior. The whispers started immediately. Can you believe she brought him here? Poor Maya. How embarrassing. That woman has no shame. Maya was working the student volunteer table, selling raffle tickets with her friends. I watched her face crumble when she saw her mother walk in with another man, in front of her classmates, teachers, and half the town. Trent was playing his part perfectly. Designer suit, expensive watch, that confident smile that said he could afford anything he wanted, including other men's wives. He shook hands with the principal, made small talk with the PTA president, and acted like he belonged at a school fundraiser for a kid who wasn't his. I was adjusting the microphone on the main stage when I overheard their conversation with Dr. Harrison, the headmaster. Trent's been so supportive during this difficult transition, Aaron was saying. It's wonderful to have someone who understands the importance of education. Absolutely, Trent agreed. I've been thinking about increasing my donations to the school. Maya's such a bright girl. She deserves every opportunity. Dr. Harrison looked uncomfortable, but nodded politely. That's very generous of you, Mr. Williams. Maya appeared at my elbow, tears streaming down her face. Dad, I can't do this. Everyone's staring. Jenny Martinez just asked me if I'm going to call him Daddy now. Something snapped inside me. I walked over to the refreshment table, where someone had set up a large punch bowl filled with red fruit punch. Without thinking, I picked up the entire bowl and walked straight toward Trent. Excuse me, I said loudly. Mr. Williams? Trent turned, that smug smile still on his face. Yes? This is for being such a supportive father figure. I dumped the entire bowl of punch over his head. Red liquid cascaded down his designer suit, dripping onto his Italian leather shoes. The gymnasium went silent except for the sound of punch hitting the floor. Trent stood there, dripping and speechless, while 300 people stared in shock. Oops, I said. Accident. The silence lasted about 3 seconds before someone started laughing, then someone else. Within moments, half the room was laughing at Trent Williams, successful businessman and homewrecker, standing in a puddle of fruit punch looking like an idiot. Aaron grabbed my arm. Have you lost your mind? Maybe, but at least I'm not the one who brought my affair partner to my daughter's school fundraiser. Dr. Harrison appeared beside us. Mr. Patterson, I think you should leave. Already going. I looked at Maya, who was trying not to smile. Come on, kiddo. Let's get some ice cream. We left Trent dripping punch and Aaron making excuses to a room full of people who would be talking about this for months. In the car, Maya finally let herself laugh. Dad, I can't believe you did that. Neither can I. I'm probably going to get fired. Worth it though, right? I looked at my daughter. my brilliant, brave 15-year-old daughter who'd been caught in the middle of her parents' war and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Pride. Yeah, kiddo, totally worth it. But Aaron wasn't finished with me. The next morning, I found a letter in my mailbox from Morrison & Associates. Legal letterhead, fancy paper, Aaron's signature at the bottom. Cease and desist was printed in bold letters at the top. The letter accused me of harassment, defamation, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. It demanded I stop all social media activity related to Aaron or Trent, remove any content I'd posted, and cease all contact except through attorneys. It also informed me that Aaron was filing for full custody of Maya. I called Ray. "She's going for the throat," he said after I read him the letter. "Trying to scare you into backing down. Is it working? Are you scared?" I thought about it. 3 months ago, a letter from a law firm would have terrified me. But 3 months ago, I was still trying to save my marriage. Now I was trying to save my dignity. "No," I said. "I'm not scared. I'm pissed." "Good, because I found something you're going to want to see." Ray had been doing some digging into Trent Williams' business practices. Turns out the BMW King of Edgewood had some skeletons in his showroom. 3 sexual harassment complaints in the last 5 years, Ray said, showing me printouts. All settled out of court with NDAs, but the complaints are still on file with the state licensing board. "How'd you get these?" "My cousin works for the state. She owed me a favor." I studied the documents. 3 different women, all former employees, all claiming Trent had used his position to pressure them into sexual relationships, all paid off to keep quiet. "This is good," I said, "but I need something better." "What do you mean?" "I mean Erin's a lawyer. She knows how to fight dirty in court. If I'm going to win this custody battle, I need ammunition she can't argue away." "What kind of ammunition?" I smiled. "The kind that proves she's an unfit mother." That weekend, Maya was supposed to spend time with Aaron at Trent's house, a massive lakeside property that looked like something from a magazine. Maya didn't want to go, but the temporary custody arrangement required it. I dropped her off at 6 p.m. and told her to text me if she needed anything. At 9:30, my phone buzzed. "Dad, you need to come get me. Now." "What's wrong?" "Mom and Trent are having a party. There are like 30 people here. Everyone's drunk and someone's doing cocaine in the bathroom. Mom told me to stay in my room and not bother the adults." I was in my truck before she finished talking. The lakeside house was blazing with lights and thumping with music loud enough to wake the dead. Cars were parked everywhere, including on the neighbor's lawn. Through the windows, I could see people dancing, drinking, and doing things that definitely weren't appropriate for a 15-year-old to witness. I found Maya hiding in an upstairs bedroom, her overnight bag already packed. "Where's your mother?" "Downstairs somewhere." "Dad, there are people doing drugs down there. Like openly. And Mom's so drunk she can barely stand up." I pulled out my phone and started recording. The noise, the chaos, the evidence of a party that was completely inappropriate for a child. We were halfway down the stairs when I saw Erin. She was pressed against the kitchen counter, kissing Trent, while a crowd of their friends cheered them on. Her dress was hiked up, his hands were all over her, and they were putting on a show for their audience like they were still in college. Maya made a disgusted noise. "Can we please just go?" But I was still recording. This was perfect. Evidence that Erin was more interested in partying with her boyfriend than taking care of her daughter. We made it to the front door before Trent spotted us. "Hey, Mike!" He was drunk, loud and aggressive. "What are you doing in my house?" "Picking up my daughter. She's supposed to be here until tomorrow." "Not anymore." I kept walking toward my truck, Maya beside me. Trent followed us outside. "You can't just take her. We have a custody agreement." "Sue me." He grabbed my arm. "I'm talking to you." I turned around slowly. Trent Williams was drunk, angry, and stupid enough to put his hands on me in front of witnesses. Take your hand off me. Or what? You'll dump more punch on me? He was trying to look tough for his party guests, who had followed us outside to watch the show. Or I'll break your nose. He let go but stepped closer, trying to intimidate me with his height and expensive clothes. You think you scare me? You're nothing. A maintenance worker. A loser. Your wife left you for a real man. Maya was tugging on my shirt. Dad, let's just go. But I was done running from this guy. You're right, I said. I am just a maintenance worker, but at least I don't have to steal other men's wives to feel like a man. Trent's face went red. Watch your mouth. Or what? You'll sue me? Have me arrested? Go ahead. But first, let me ask you something. I pulled out my phone and showed him the video I'd just recorded. How do you think this is going to look in family court? His expression changed as he realized what I'd captured. His party, Aaron's behavior, the inappropriate environment he'd created for a child. You can't use that. Watch me. I got in my truck with Maya and drove away, leaving Trent standing in his driveway surrounded by his drunk friends and his guilty conscience. Dad, Maya said as we pulled onto the main road, Mom's really lost it, hasn't she? I looked at my daughter, mature beyond her years, forced to grow up too fast by parents who'd forgotten how to be adults. Yeah, kiddo, I think she has. But I hadn't lost anything yet. In fact, I was just getting started. The video of Aaron's party became my secret weapon, but I wasn't ready to use it yet. First, I wanted to see how far she'd go to destroy me. The answer came Monday morning when Dr. Harrison called me into his office. Mike, I'm sorry, but I have to suspend you pending an investigation. Investigation into what? The incident at the fundraiser. Mrs. Patterson has filed a complaint claiming you've been harassing her and Mr. Williams. She's threatening to sue the school if we don't take action. I sat in the chair across from his desk, the same chair I'd sat in 12 years ago when he hired me. Dr. Harrison, you know me. Have I ever caused problems before? No, Mike. You've been a model employee. But Mrs. Patterson is persuasive, and the school board is nervous about liability. How long is the suspension? 2 weeks, pending the outcome of our investigation. 2 weeks without pay. 2 weeks while Aaron and her lawyer friends painted me as an unstable harasser who couldn't control his temper. I cleaned out my office and drove home to find Maya waiting for me on the front porch. They suspended you, didn't they? How did you know? Mom called. She sounded really happy about it. That afternoon, Aaron's next move became clear. A process server showed up at my door with custody modification papers. Aaron was asking for full custody, claiming I was emotionally unstable and potentially dangerous. The petition included statements from witnesses at the fundraiser, photos of Trent's keyed car, and a psychological evaluation request. Aaron was trying to paint me as an unhinged ex-husband who couldn't accept that his marriage was over. I called the one lawyer in town I could afford, Jim Murphy, who handled divorces and DUIs from a strip mall office near the highway. She's good, Murphy said after reviewing the papers. Really good. She's building a case that you're the problem here, not her. What about the video from the party? It helps, but it's not enough. She'll argue that she's allowed to have a social life and that you violated her privacy by recording without permission. So, what do I do? You need more ammunition. Something that proves she's an unfit mother, not just someone who likes to party. I had an idea. That evening I called Jill Peterson, Aaron's best friend and the HR director at Morrison & Associates. Jill had always been friendly to me, maybe a little too friendly. She'd made comments over the years about how lucky Aaron was to have a real man like me, how most lawyers were boring, how she wished she could find someone more down to earth. Mike, I was so sorry to hear about you and Aaron. Thanks, Jill. I was wondering if we could talk. Maybe grab a drink? I'd love that. When? Tonight? We met at Murphy's Tavern, a dive bar on the outskirts of town where lawyers didn't usually drink. Jill showed up in jeans and a sweater, looking more relaxed than I'd ever seen her. "This is nice," she said, sliding into the booth across from me. "Getting away from all the drama." "Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Erin's been difficult at work lately, distracted, making mistakes." I ordered us both drinks and let her talk. After 2 beers, Jill was opening up about things I'd never heard before. "She's been billing personal expenses as business costs," Jill said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Dinners with Trent, hotel rooms, even clothes. Janet Morrison is starting to ask questions." "Really?" "And the partners are getting tired of her attitude. She acts like she's already made partner, but the vote isn't for another 6 months. This was better than I'd hoped. That must be stressful for her. She's been drinking more too. Sometimes she comes back from lunch smelling like wine. Last week, she fell asleep at her desk during a client meeting. By the end of the evening, I had enough information to seriously damage Erin's career. But I also had something else. Jill Peterson was clearly interested in more than just drinks and conversation. "Mike," she said as we walked to our cars, "if you ever need someone to talk to, someone who understands what you're going through, I'm here." She touched my arm and looked up at me with hopeful eyes. "Thanks, Jill. That means a lot." But I wasn't interested in a rebound relationship with my wife's best friend. I was interested in information. The next morning, I made an anonymous call to the State Bar Association's ethics hotline, reporting suspected billing fraud at Morrison & Associates. I also sent an anonymous email to Janet Morrison detailing Erin's drinking and unprofessional behavior. Then I waited. The call came 3 days later. Maya was crying. "Dad, something happened at Mom's work. She got in trouble for something and they're investigating her. She's been crying all morning and screaming at Trent." "Where are you now?" "At Trent's house. But Dad, I don't want to stay here anymore. They fight all the time and Mom's been drinking every day. Yesterday she was so drunk she couldn't drive me to school." "Pack your stuff, kiddo. I'm coming to get you." "What if Mom says no?" "Let me worry about your mother." I drove to Trent's lakeside mansion and found Erin on the deck, drinking wine at 11 in the morning. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "What do you want, Mike?" "I want my daughter. She's supposed to be here until Sunday." "Look at yourself, Erin. You're drunk before noon. Maya called me crying because you couldn't drive her to school." I had 1 glass of wine. I looked at the empty bottle on the table beside her. 1 bottle, maybe. Trent appeared from inside the house, looking annoyed. "What's he doing here?" "Getting my daughter. She stays here. We have a custody agreement." I pulled out my phone and showed them both the video from the party. "You want to explain this to a judge? Your inappropriate party with drugs and alcohol while Maya was supposed to be in your care?" Erin's face went pale. "You can't use that." "Watch me." I looked at Trent. "How do you think your customers will react when they see their BMW dealer hosting cocaine parties? How do you think the licensing board will feel about it?" Trent stepped forward, trying to intimidate me again. "You're threatening me." "I'm informing you. There's a difference." Maya appeared with her suitcase. "I'm ready, Dad." Erin stood up unsteadily. "Maya, honey, you don't have to go. We can work this out." "Mom, you've been drunk for 3 days. You forgot to pick me up from school yesterday. I had to call an Uber." "That's not... I was just having a difficult day." "You've been having a difficult month." Maya walked past her mother without looking back. In the car, she was quiet for a long time. "Dad, is Mom going to be okay?" I looked at my daughter in the rearview mirror. 15 years old and already more mature than her mother. "I don't know, kiddo, but you're going to be okay. That's what matters." That evening, Erin called me 17 times. I didn't answer. Finally, she showed up at our house, drunk and desperate. "You can't keep her from me." "I'm not keeping her from you. I'm protecting her from you. I'm her mother." "Then act like it." She started crying then, standing in my driveway in yesterday's clothes, mascara running down her face. Mike, please, I know I messed up, but I love her. I love you too. Maybe we can work this out. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Aaron, you made your choice. You chose Trent. You chose the parties. You chose the drama. You chose everything except your family. I can change. Maybe. But I'm done waiting for you to figure out how to be a decent person. She drove away, and I went inside to find Maya doing homework at the kitchen table. Is she gone? Yeah. Good. Dad, can I ask you something? Anything. Are you going to be okay? Like, really okay? I sat down beside my daughter and realized something had changed. For months, I'd been reacting to Erin's choices, letting her control the narrative, fighting her battles on her terms. But I wasn't the victim anymore. I was the one in control. Yeah, kiddo, I'm going to be better than okay. And I meant it. The ethics investigation at Morrison & Associates moved faster than I'd expected. Within a week, Erin was placed on administrative leave pending a full audit of her billing practices. The State Bar Association opened their own investigation, and suddenly Erin Patterson, rising star attorney, was facing potential disbarment. The news spread through Edgewood like wildfire. In a town where everyone knew everyone else's business, a high-powered lawyer getting investigated for fraud was front-page material for the local paper. I was reinstated at the school with a formal apology from Dr. Harrison. The board reviewed the situation and decided that your reaction at the fundraiser was understandable given the circumstances, he said diplomatically. Maya was thriving back at home. Her grades improved, she stopped getting into fights at school, and she even started bringing friends over again, something she'd stopped doing when Erin was around and constantly fighting with me. But Erin wasn't finished destroying herself yet. Desperate and facing professional ruin, she made the mistake that would end everything. She tried to blame me for her problems. The story appeared in the Edgewood Gazette under the headline, "Local Attorney Claims Ex-Husband Sabotaged Career." In it, Erin painted herself as the victim of a vindictive ex-husband who couldn't accept that she'd moved on. Mike Patterson has been systematically harassing me and my partner for months, she was quoted as saying. He's vandalized property, made threatening phone calls, and now he's trying to destroy my career with false accusations. This is what happens when an unstable person can't accept rejection. The article included quotes from Trent about his vandalized BMW and threatening behavior at his home. They were trying to flip the script, making me the villain and themselves the victims. It might have worked if I hadn't been recording everything. I called Jim Murphy, my lawyer, and scheduled a press conference for the next day. Are you sure about this? Murphy asked. Once you go public, there's no taking it back. I'm sure. The press conference was held in Murphy's conference room with reporters from 3 local papers, 2 radio stations, and the regional TV news. I'd invited them with a simple message: the truth about the Patterson divorce. I started with the video from Trent's party, Maya hiding upstairs while adults did drugs and drank themselves stupid in the room below. Then I showed security footage from the school fundraiser that clearly showed Erin and Trent making a public spectacle of themselves while their daughter watched in humiliation. But the real bombshell was the audio recordings. I'd been recording my conversations with Erin for weeks, ever since she'd started making threats. The recordings showed her admitting to billing fraud, threatening to use her legal connections to destroy me, and bragging about how she was going to take Maya away from me out of spite. She doesn't need her father. Erin's voice played through the conference room speakers. She needs to learn that actions have consequences. If Mike wants to play games, he's going to lose everything. The reporters ate it up, but I saved the best for last. There's one more thing you should know about Trent Williams, I said, pulling out the harassment complaints Ray had found. The man my wife left me for has a pattern of using his position to exploit women. 3 complaints, 3 settlements, 3 women paid to keep quiet about his behavior. I distributed copies of the complaints, with the victims' names redacted but the details intact. This is the man my wife chose over her family. This is who she thought was a better role model for our daughter. The room was silent except for the sound of pens scratching on paper and camera shutters clicking. The story dominated local news for days. BMW dealer's secret harassment history revealed. Lawyer's fraud investigation deepens. Edgewood power couple's dark secrets exposed. Trent's business immediately felt the impact. Protesters showed up at his dealerships with signs reading Williams BMW, where harassment comes standard, and boycott Williams Motors. 3 major corporate clients canceled their fleet contracts within 48 hours. Aaron's situation got even worse. The Bar Association expanded their investigation based on the recorded admissions, and Morrison and Associates quietly asked for her resignation to avoid further scandal. But the final blow came from an unexpected source, Jill Peterson. Jill called me the day after the press conference, crying. "Mike, I need to tell you something. About Aaron and Trent." "What about them?" "The affair. It didn't start recently. They've been seeing each other for over a year. I helped cover for her. I lied to you, Mike, so many times." The confession poured out of her. Aaron and Trent had been having an affair since the previous summer. Jill had provided alibis, covered for missed meetings, even helped Aaron create fake business trips to explain her absences. "She was using me," Jill sobbed. "She said you were boring, that you didn't understand her needs, that she deserved better. I believed her because I wanted to believe her." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I can't live with the guilt anymore, and because I think I was in love with you, Mike. I thought if Aaron left, maybe you'd notice me. But I see now how stupid that was." Jill's confession gave me the final piece of evidence I needed. With her testimony, I could prove that Aaron had been planning her exit strategy for over a year, using our marriage as a cover while she built her new life with Trent. The custody hearing was scheduled for the following week, but it never happened. 3 days before we were supposed to appear in court, Aaron's lawyer called Jim Murphy. "My client wants to settle." "What are her terms?" "She'll agree to joint custody with primary residence going to Mr. Patterson. She wants visitation rights and no alimony obligations on either side." It was complete capitulation. Aaron was giving me everything I'd asked for. "What's the catch?" I asked Murphy. "No catch. She's broke, unemployed, and facing disbarment. She can't afford to fight anymore." The settlement was signed on a Tuesday morning in Murphy's office. Aaron looked like she'd aged 10 years in the past month. Her hair was unwashed, her clothes wrinkled, and she couldn't meet my eyes. "I want you to know," she said as we signed the papers. "I never meant for it to go this far." "Yes, you did. You wanted to humiliate me, destroy me, take everything I cared about. You just didn't expect me to fight back. I loved you once. Maybe. But you loved yourself more." She signed the papers and left without saying goodbye to Maya. That evening, Maya and I went out for dinner at the nicest restaurant in town, the same place where Aaron and Trent had been photographed kissing months earlier. "So, what happens now?" Maya asked over dessert. "Now we rebuild. New life, new rules, new beginning." "What about Mom?" I looked at my daughter, who'd been through more in the past year than most adults experience in a lifetime. "Your mom made her choices. Now she has to live with them. But that doesn't mean we can't be happy." Maya smiled for the first time in months. "I think I'd like that." 2 weeks later, I heard that Trent had closed 2 of his dealerships and was facing bankruptcy. The harassment scandal had destroyed his reputation, and the boycotts had killed his business. Aaron had moved back in with her parents in another state, working as a paralegal while fighting the disbarment proceedings. Jill Peterson had transferred to another law firm and was seeing a therapist to deal with her guilt and obsession. As for me, I got a promotion at the school, head of maintenance with a substantial raise. Maya was thriving, her grades were excellent, and she'd even started dating a nice kid from her chemistry class. On a Saturday morning in late spring, I was fixing the back porch when Maya came outside with her phone. Dad, you need to see this. She showed me a social media post from Erin, a photo of her sitting alone in what looked like a cheap apartment with the caption, "Sometimes life humbles you in ways you never expected, learning to rebuild from nothing." New beginnings, grateful and lessons. The post had 3 likes and no comments. "Do you feel bad for her?" Maya asked. I looked at the photo of my ex-wife, the woman who'd tried to destroy me, who'd abandoned her daughter for a man with money, who'd gambled everything on a fantasy and lost. "No," I said. "I don't." Maya nodded. "Good. Because she made her bed, right?" "Right. And now she gets to sleep in it." We went back to fixing the porch, building something new on the foundation of what we'd saved from the wreckage. And for the first time in over a year, I felt genuinely happy. Erin had smiled coldly when she told me to file for divorce, thinking I'd never have the courage to follow through. Guess who was crying on the floor when I actually did exactly that?